The man.
Ghosts, and they're tearing his soul apart.
He shudders.
Lee!
He passes out.
Stop! Yeah!
His face goes slack. The man is oblivious.
Keep our guest. Pay no mutilation until the master.
My dear Lord Ahu, you should have told me you were expecting visitors.
Run, you fools!
I might ask you the same. This place is mine, after all, and Ahu was my prisoner. But I can answer the question. This is where you shall die. Do you like it?
Why, Kem? Why betray everything for which you once stood?
I stood for a lie. The God King told me the truth, so I swore an oath. He's sorry it turned out this way, of course. But you can never see Lucian. It can't be allowed. Oh dear. I thought you might say that. Shall we then?
I'll yield to none!
I'm ready.
Hurts, doesn't it? yourself.
I'll yield to none. Prepare yourself.
I'm ready.
The spirit watches you, composed and dignified, even in death.
Of course you do, Godwoken. Why else would you seek out a tired spectre like myself? But what you ask was expressly forbidden by the Divine before his death. None, especially Godwoken, were to approach his remains. He saw that his crypt was turned into a fortress to thwart the likes of you. He even arranged for Godwoken to be harried by White Magister and lone wolves, to keep them far away from his crypt. I swore to uphold his wishes. I know. And so I'm going to help you. Lucian's precautions have failed. The Void thrives. It's clear that a different approach is needed. That a new divine is needed. Nobody knows every step of the path of blood, but I'll do what I can for you. First, you must get past Lucian's statues, the one that judges those who approach it. An amulet filled with source paired with a scroll of atonement will let you pass unharmed. Good. But you will need to fill the amulet with source, and to find the scroll of atonement also. Only then can you proceed. The room is filled with levers. Most are deadly, but 5 will lead you closer to Lucian's tomb. Each lever is named after a virtue of the divine. 5 of them bear initials that spell power. Select these 5 and these alone.
The spirit meets his fate with a dignified calm. Then he is no more. With a glint in the dark of his eye, the spirit of Kem gives you a toothy grin.
Wait, what? What? No, no, this was not the deal. This was not the deal. I will return. I will return.
But Lord Kem was gone, and he would never return. There's a curious-looking panel. The amulet fits the slot. There's a slot above the button. The source fades from the amulet, consumed by the inner mechanisms of the button. You produce the Scroll of Atonement and read it aloud. Gears turn behind the ancient walls, almost like they're acknowledging the words you spoke. A nearby hatch in the floor unseals itself. The statue reaches toward the sky, as though preparing to take flight. The bottom drops out from within you. She lifts you up, up, up.
No sign of Lucian's body. Has Dallas beaten us here?
Peering through the iron grating, you can see how it connects to the strange pipework beneath. The Blessed Altar seems to want to be touched. The altar seems to respond. Beyond it, something creaks, as if the pipework was moving. The sound comes from beyond the altar, but also echoes and gurgles behind. Peering through the iron, a blessed stone altar. In the space beyond the altar, the pipework shifts. In the space beyond the altar, in the pit beyond, things move once more, as if returning to their original position. Then the mechanism rests. A blessed stone altar. The cool stone seems to beg to be touched. In the space beyond the altar, the pipework... Peering through the iron grate. Peering through the iron grating, you can see how it... A blessed stone altar. The cools in the space beyond the altar. In the pit beyond, things move. Peering through the iron grate, the blessed altar seems to want to be touched. In the space beyond...
Venture no farther. Only death lies beyond. Blood need not be spilled. Bones need not be broken. Preserve thyself and flee. To cross this threshold is to plunge into thy grave. Do not decide in haste. Very well. Embrace thy fate.
That room, eh? Charming.
Noxious atmosphere in it. Moving to Argus manipulator.
Cornered.
I'll kill none.
to reinforcement deployer. Moving to corporeal transposition engine. Moving to orifice manipulation. Orifice manipulation. Activated. Moving to rapid descent cranial disruptor. Moving to hazardous concoction generator. Moving to hazardous concoction generator. Hazardous concoction. Moving to orifice manipulator. Moving to rapid descent cranial disruptor. Moving to noxious atmosphere. Noxious atmosphere enabled. Moving to corporeal transposition. Corporeal transposition imminent.
I'll yield to none.
Moving to hazardous concoction generator. Hazardous concoction vessels generated. Combat in progress. Seeking damage opportunity. Moving to orifice manipulator. Moving to noxious atmosphere enabler. Moving to corporeal transposition engine. Corporeal transposition imminent. Combat in progress. Damage opportunities!
Greet the Reaper for me.
Moving to Orifice Manipulator. Orifice Manipulator activated.
I don't think that was the right lever. I don't think that was the right lever.
I don't think that was the right lever.
Moving to rapid descent cranial disruption. Moving to noxious atmosphere enabler. Moving to hazardous concoction generator. Moving to hazardous concoction generator. Moving to bovine empathy simulator. Moving to rapid descent cranial disruptor. Moving to rapid descent cranial disruptor. Moving to orifice manipulator. Combat in progress. Seeking damage opportunity. Combat in progress. Seeking damage opportunities. Combat in progress. Seeking damage opportunities.
That lever did something. I could feel it. Did something. Something happened. It worked. I heard gears moving. That must have been the last.
You reach for your weapon, but as the small Voidwoken skitters forward, you get the sense that it's not here to fight. It looks at Fane, clicking and chittering in excitement, and introduces itself. Fane starts in shock. He knows it. The Voidwoken was a colleague from Fane's days at the Academy, his assistant. It claims it knows how to save the Eternals. It promises Fane that if he can snatch the powers of the Seven, then he can restore his people. Not under the rule of the God King or the Void, they would finally be free. Fane turns away, pensive and quiet. Even as a skull, you can see the pain etched into his face. The truth hangs heavy upon the air itself, unspoken. This is the point of no return. Somewhere beyond this point, you shall be undone, or you shall ascend. There is no middle ground.
You come here often? I don't know what you did, but you just released a source flood. I thought I'd come and see what all the fuss was about. Should have known you were getting yourself into trouble. Looks like the big moment has finally arrived. I will do everything I can to support you, Godwoken. I will pray for you. I think you'll need it. Don't underestimate the power of true prayer. This is a place of incredible power where a single prayer holds the weight of thousands. Your heart and soul will fill as quickly as they're drained. Consider it a taste of your divine future. Prayer will enrich you, and your disciples will empower you, strengthen you, and trust you in all ways to do only what is right. Of course, it's up to you whether or not to listen. I know how I'd respond, but you do you.
Malady wearily chuckles to herself, then bows her head in a show of unexpected but sincere reverence.
Looks like my investment's paid off after all.
You've shown me kindness in the face of my sins. My worship is the least I can offer.
Now go. Rivellon needs a new divine.
This amulet is storing the source.
Godwoken. Dallas told me to expect you. You must be as hard as diamonds and twice as bright to have come so far. But, Ifan, if only I had known it was you. Your divine welcomes you.
Surprise!
Lucian frowns at the figure, then bestows a benevolent smile upon you. All that you know of him flashes across the panorama of your mind. You open your mouth to speak.
I underestimated you, Godwoken. You have proven to be a formidable foe. You have my respect.
Respect, indeed.
Lucian's gaze rests upon you and goes through you. He takes your measure entirely.
Lucian, we should tell the Godwoken the truth.
Yes, I agree. It is time we dropped our masks.
Dallas nods, then reaches for the sides of her head. Where there was one face, suddenly there are four. She takes off the mask of the shapeshifter. A skull is revealed, bejeweled and ancient as the void.
I am eternal.
Surprise, surprise.
Fear not, Godwoken. Dallas is on the side of all that is good. She is helping me rid Rivellon of the influence of the Source. Listen to her.
I shall tell you the tale as I told it to Lucian. Long ago, the scholar Fane discovered that the veil between the world and the void was made of Source. Our 7 lords desired this power.
Of course.
Silence, slave. Our king forbade the 7 to reach for this power, but they didn't listen. Instead, they rebelled and sent the king and his people into the void.
With the Source, they stole from the Veil. The 7 created the races so they would have worshippers.
During their lives, worshippers collect Source. When they die, the gods feed from them. It's an ingenious system.
Our souls are nothing but vats for the Source-hungry gods.
The 7 made a mistake.
The 7's lust for power let in the void. Our goal is to close the hole they created, to restore the source to the Veil. When we are done, there shall be no more source in the world. No more gods, no more worship, no more war, no more chaos, no more demons, no more Voidwoken. Rivellon will have peace at last.
My people cannot be allowed to return from the Void. They are tarnished. They are Voidwoken. They can only bring chaos and death and...
There is more, but she hesitates to share it. Then she decides that she must.
I was but a child when the war started. The king, in his fury, separated my family and scattered us across the world to be... entombed. He did this because it was my father who gave the Seven the secret of the Veil, against the king's explicit instructions. Ironically, the king's punishment is what saved me from the Void. Only a very few Eternals escaped banishment. Myself, my mother, and Thane. Yes, Thane is my father.
What? No. It can't be. Everything Dallas did. It was all you. Child.
Everything I did to fix your mistake. Our people. Every purged sorcerer. Every dead magister. All those weeping families. They're on your head, father. And now, in my mother's name and my own, I take my revenge on the king and the Seven. And to you, father, I offer the opportunity to atone for your sins. Did you even look for me, father?
Dallas, control your emotions. Our purpose transcends your personal wounds.
You are right.
Dallas has her reasons, as you can see. I seek peace for Rivellon, and for myself. Her ambitions align with my own, and I always believed the goal justifies the means.
During the war, the real Dallas found my tomb. I took her place and quickly realized that Lucian was the key to my vengeance. And I was the key to the salvation of Rivellon.
While Dallas sought the Aeterran, I started draining the gods of their source.
Slurp, slurp, slurp.
One more word from you, and I shall use the leash.
I had to hide from the gods. So I had the walls of this crypt equipped with tenebrium, and protections put in place. It worked. Everyone, even the gods, thought me dead. As divine, I was created, empowered to stop the Void. I was the avatar of the Seven, their strength and their weakness. My bond to them allowed me to drain them of their source.
Indirectly. And when the Death Fog was unleashed, many elves died. With fewer elves to worship him, Tyr Sandilius weakened. This gave the God King his first real foothold back in the world. To strengthen himself, he sent his Voidwoken, the remnants of my people, to hunt down the sorcerers seeking to reclaim their source.
We turned the appearance of Voidwoken to our advantage. To fix the Veil, all source needs to be removed from the world. Blaming the sorcerers for Voidwoken made them easier to capture.
The Aeterran now contains almost all of the source the Seven stole. Soon, we will be able to heal the Veil.
The Void shall be banished, and I, Lucian the Divine, shall return from the dead. A false divine, of course. I shall have no power. But the world will not know this. I shall demand peace, and we shall have it.
The plan is almost complete.
We have made so many sacrifices, Ifan. All of us. Of ourselves and those we love. One last sacrifice is required for the future of Rivellon. You must surrender your source.
Decide. Be the true hero and give up your source, or be forced to submit. Like a coward. Like a slave.
There is no other way. The source of the world is required to close the veil. All of the source. We only lack yours.
Good. You understand.
The world shall not know this. I shall return from the grave, a divine without power, yet all who desire power shall fear me. I shall carry the secret of my lack of divinity. Peace shall reign.
As I say, one last sacrifice is required. Yours.
Ifan, my friend, these were sacrifices that had to be made. You were but one. Each of them pained me, but I would make them all again. I made so many sacrifices, Ifan. And now, so must you.
Then let us proceed.
Show some responsibility, Father! Surrender your source!
Sealing the veil will lock our people away forever. They will never be free of the void. Though if they return, what becomes of this world?
Fane turns to you. In all the time that you've traveled together, you've never seen him like this. He's trembling with emotion.
And you, my fellow adventurers. Together we have seen more than generations of mortals could ever see. You have seen the horrors of the void, and I have seen this world through your eyes. You showed me how beautiful it really was. There is no one else I would trust to make this choice. Whatever you decide, I will follow.
You'll be a hero. Everyone will know of the sacrifice you'll make. Your name will be synonymous with the survival of Rivellon.
Don't let them do this to us!
But our souls? There has to be another way.
No. Never.
You shall have your sacrifice. I surrender my source for the good of all Rivellon.
Yes, very good.
She raises what looks like a leash. A chuckle emerges from beneath the cloaked figure's hood. The chuckle becomes a guffaw, booming and hateful. Dallis flicks her wrist, and nothing happens.
Surprise! Surprise! Surprise.
How? What? The leash is cut!
A bright observation from a bilious imbecile. You know people often become sloppy when they're close to achieving their dream. You left the leashing wand next to me, you stupid maggot. So accustomed had you become to me, pretending to be your slave.
Kill him.
Do shut up, you tedious buffoon. And don't look so surprised. As if I would allow a bone bag to enslave me. Brachus Rex, you ignorant dog. Brachus! I am the one true king of the Source. He who shall be god of the Source. It is time for my divinity! Or did you really think I'd play slavishly along with your ridiculous scheme, Dallis? Yes, I played my part of the servile stooge. But know this. It was only about the power of divinity.
Kill him. Now.
Too late, you moldering, blight-stained pigs. Grant me power, my ally. God King, I call on you! You would interrupt Brachus Rex? You would interrupt the Source King? You shall redefine suffering. My ally sends me a pet. What a fitting gift. Ruling the world with a bloody fist can be lonely. I needed a companion. Come to your father, my pretty thing. Come to the Source King!
Glory is mine.